Is the Formula One season in 2026 going to be a Mercedes versus Ferrari season? This is the question that has come up following the first race of this particular season, which took place in Melbourne, Australia. During the race, it became very clear that the closest challenger to Mercedes is actually Ferrari. And even during the race, the gap was probably closer than many had expected, especially following the gap that was there after qualifying previous Saturday in Australia. And this is why many people at this particular point in time or at these early stages of the season believe that this is a season where Mercedes are actually going to fight for the title with Ferrari. And that makes this particular season very interesting. But what is important to also realize is that it might not be possible to draw conclusions just from one race. The only thing that probably the Australian Grand Prix gives us is a hint or an indication that Ferrari might actually be the team to give Mercedes a run for their money in these opening races of the Formula One season in 2026. And as of recording of this particular video, we are gearing up for the Chinese Grand Prix, which is round 2 of this particular season. And thereafter, there will be a race in Japan. And so it will be very interesting to see how Mercedes and Ferrari are going to perform in these upcoming races, and whether there are races and tracks where Ferrari will be ahead of Mercedes, and how that would pan out. Because if this is going to be a sort of a two-horse race in the initial races before probably McLaren and Red Bull also close the gap to the front two, then it should be exciting that at least Mercedes are not going to run away with the championship as many had already expected. Many had actually almost given up that George Russell or Kimi would win the Drivers' Championship and Mercedes would automatically win the Constructors' Championship. After the first race in Australia, I am not convinced that Mercedes are going to have it easy in 2026. They might actually be surprised at how few races they might be able to win, especially if Ferrari can probably put their acts together, because in Australia we can almost conclude that if they had gotten their race strategy well, they probably would have closed the gap to the Mercedes, and they probably would also have won the race. You never know, because the pace that Lewis Hamilton had towards the end of the Australian Grand Prix was probably faster than everyone else on track. If this is the first time that you and I are meeting, I am Joe, and on this YouTube channel I talk about Formula One and the business of Formula One, and I would really appreciate it if you would consider subscribing to this YouTube channel. And that gives us a hint that if Ferrari can be able to get their act together, it's possible that they are going to actually give a great deal of competition to Mercedes. Meaning that if Mercedes also make a mistake during the race or their strategy kinda also fails, Ferrari will be there to capitalize on those kind of mistakes. And of course, we cannot forget that the other teams that are closest, McLaren and Red Bull, are also going to be at work improving their packages, extracting performance, which means that as the season progresses, more teams will get closer to the front, and we may end up having kind of a four-way fight among 4 teams at the top, which of course would be exciting for us who watch Formula One and also for the sport as a whole to have 8 drivers fighting for wins and 4 teams fighting for the Constructors' Championship. I think that would be a very exciting kind of an idea or something to actually look forward to. Now, when you also look at the tables at the moment, it is also shaping to be a Ferrari versus Mercedes or Mercedes versus Ferrari, however you want to look at it. Because when it comes to the Constructors' Championship, Mercedes are on top of the table. The second team is actually Ferrari. And when you also go to the Drivers' Championship, it is a similar situation. You have George Russell at the top, followed by Kimi Antonelli, both of them from Mercedes. and then you have Charles Leclerc in third and Lewis Hamilton in fourth, both from Ferrari. So already this is shaping up as a battle between Mercedes and Ferrari, and it will be very interesting to see how this pans out over the course of the season. Personally, I support Ferrari, and in particular, I support Lewis Hamilton. So I would really hope to see him win more races and also for Ferrari to secure more points. And I must also admit that as a Lewis Hamilton fan, I would really hope that if he is the one going to win the Drivers' Championship in 2026, I hope that he can be able to win it before Abu Dhabi, because I would not want to have a situation whereby he is on the same points or he is still fighting for the title in Abu Dhabi in 2026. Probably he can do it, a race or two before we head to Abu Dhabi, because those of us who are with him and who have supported him and who are there in 2021, I'm sure would not want a repeat of the same, or at least to even have that kind of a feeling whereby you are getting into Abu Dhabi for the final race. Your favorite driver is there, still in competition with another driver. This is going to be it from me on this particular video, and I hope that you have enjoyed this conversation. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not, and I'm going to see you in my next video.